Welcome to Manitowoc Cooperative Ministry Daily Devotions. I'm Pastor Judine Duerwaechter, co-pastor with the MCM, and today I'm going to bring you a reflection on Psalm 81. I'll read a few select verses and we'll see how this psalmist can inspire us today. Psalm 81. Sing aloud to God our strength, shout for joy to the God of Jacob. Raise a song, sound the tambourine, the sweet lyre with the harp. Blow the trumpet at the new moon, at the full moon of our festival day. Now God speaks, I relieved your shoulder of the burden, your hands were freed from the basket. Hear, O my people, while I admonish you, O Israel, if you would but listen to me. I am the Lord your God who brought you up out of the land of Egypt. Open your mouth wide, and I will fill it. But my people did not listen to my voice. Israel would not submit to me. So I gave them over to their stubborn hearts to follow their own counsel. Oh, that my people would listen to me, that Israel would walk in my ways. I would feed you with the finest of wheat, and with honey from the rock I would satisfy you. So again, a few select verses from Psalm 81, and we actually hear where, God kind of takes over in God's own voice in the psalm. But first it was selected verses of a lot of singing and praising, and these kind of praise verses would have in fact been sung with some musical instruments in the temple. And then we heard that there's this ongoing remembrance of God's agreement with Joseph. You all remember Joseph, Jacob's son, thrown in the pit by his brothers because they were so jealous and because Jacob had given him the special coat with many colors. And then, of course, he's rescued and ends up in Egypt and rises to the top from slavery to governor, so to speak. And then, however, after 400 years, all the Hebrews get stuck in slavery in Egypt after, so many different pharaohs moved to the top. They weren't all as wonderful to the Hebrews as what they were to Joseph. So again, after about 400 years, the Hebrews are stuck in slavery, and that was God's great gift through Moses, the grand exodus of all times. So God goes into this little reminder of what God has done through Joseph and for the people. And then there's almost this touch of sadness as we hear God talk about after the Exodus from Egypt, the people stopped listening to God. And you can sense, just an ungratefulness after having been rescued and gone into the desert wilderness and wandered a bit. So, I don't know that I can really believe that God feels sadness at all, but in the words, there is a sense of that. But then God goes on, I've created people, humanity with their own will, and I need to allow them to their own stubborn selves, their own stubborn hearts. But if they just only knew what I could do and what I could give to them, if they would just acknowledge and come to me. And I remember being this person, this group of Hebrews in my own life where the idea of going to God for something was hysterical because, I had zero trust in a God of love. And I really felt I could only trust myself. And, that all turned out okay. And of course, trusting in myself was the untrue part because through God, through Christ, we can do all things. But we are so resistant to come to God's love for so long. I remember one time I got on an airplane, and this is right at the beginning of my ministry. I was a pastor, and I was heading to a church conference, and I got on an airplane, and a gentleman sat next to me and just, started saying some pleasantries. And somehow it came out, that I was a pastor and I was on my way to this church conference. Well, just like that, he got up and left the seat and went and sat someplace else. I remember him banging his head on the way out. And I thought, my God, what did I do to offend him? But that is an example. People are afraid of God. I think they're afraid to be loved. I think it comes down to feeling we don't deserve it sometimes. And I also think it comes down to us being just too proud. And that's really tough because pride takes a great fall when, in fact, it does get set to the side by our egos, or by God, our egos get set to the side. And, what I've come to learn is that, thank God, I did allow God into my life. I did allow love to love me, because as God ends this psalm in verse 16, I would feed you the finest of wheat, and with honey from the rock I would satisfy you. That is so symbolic, metaphoric of what God's abundance is going to give to your life the more you surrender to it. And don't let your hearts be stubborn. God doesn't judge you. Love cannot judge anyway. Just allow God to love you. So surrender that stubborn heart and let love in. I hope this was helpful for you. And as always, join me again and remember to live to love. Have a great day.